Hey, this is Gerry, Visca, the publisher of Defyeneurs, and welcome to the Visionaries issue that is kicking off the 2017 new year. And man, are we excited, because today we are in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, and we are live with Marsha Vanwynsberghe. Marsha, welcome.
Thank you so much, Gerry. I am so excited to be here and be part of this call and this issue of Defyeneurs.
You know, Marsha, this is an exciting time for you. You're up to some really great things, as a health and life adversity coach, and I just love seeing all the great energy that you're just putting out in the world. So I'm really pumped about this profile. I'm really excited for listeners to get a sense of all the greatness that you're up to. So there's a quote that you share in your profile. I love it, and it goes like this: "It's time for us to step up, to show up, and to be a light for others in this world." So share with us, Marsha, why does the world need visionaries now more than ever?
I think it's an incredibly important time for visionaries, and we truly do need them. And I believe that most people are living in a constant state of overwhelm. I think that's actually become the new norm. People are stuck in this pattern of life didn't go as they planned, or their life isn't where they expected it to be, or circumstances happen that take their life off course. And we all know that is the norm. I mean, that is exactly the norm. We create this life plan of what our life should look like and what will happen, and truthfully, that's not how it goes. And what happens then is many people are so stuck and almost paralyzed in their tracks because they just don't know what to do next. And it gets easier to just succumb that, okay, this is my life and this is how it's going to go and this is what's the direction that it's going. And then before you know it, people are letting fear completely drive the wheel. It dictates their actions, their inactions, what they're doing. And I don't call that living, because it's not. It's barely existing. We're just numbing our way through life. And I think that it's a time where we need people to really step up and show that this is not how life is meant to be or has to be. And by stepping up and doing that, I believe that opens the door for other people to see that this might be your circumstances right now, but it's what you do with what you're given that makes a true difference of where your life goes.
I love it. And it drives me people's actions. I think that's extraordinary the way you've put that, Marsha. There's another quote you share here which I really, really admire. It goes like this: "Together we are shifting the power, learning to stand and live again, not just exist." So as you know, one of the bigger driving visions of Defyeneurs is this new ROI for the world that we believe will shift the world's energy, this energy of reaching out and inspiring others. So, share with us, how will your vision, and it's an extraordinary vision, how will it contribute to a new ROI for the world?
That's a great question. And I loved this question because it really did, it made me think and put a lot of thought into what do I want to see for the world and what do I want to create. As I mentioned before, I think that when life takes us off course, we end up very stuck. We are petrified of moving forward, of making a mistake. We're completely paralyzed by fear. But I also think that's because we all have a story. We all have a backstory. We all have things that have gone not as planned. And, of course, we all have our weaknesses, our faults, and our stories and our secrets. And whatever that is, it keeps us in this pigeonhole because we're so afraid of the world knowing us and knowing who we are. And I can attest to that because I was stuck in that for a very, very long time. And you either own your story or it owns you. And the more you hide from the world and hide in your story, the more power you give to it. So I was stuck in a vicious circle of really trying to almost hide from the world in what my family was going through, what I was going through, and hiding from the world. And in doing that, I gave it so much power. It had so much more power, and I had so little. So the reason I say that is I had to learn how to release the guilt, the expectations, the blame, stop hiding from the world. And when you step forward, I found that the first things first, I mean, we're not alone. We think that we're in this struggle and in this journey, and that we're all alone and nobody gets us, but yet we don't reach out to speak to others and to connect with others and to collaborate with others because we just hide. So I find that in doing so, I have met so many other people to realize that, no, of course I'm not alone, and it's inspired other people to share their stories. And when we do that, we shift that power. We take the power away from this story that we are hiding in, and we shift that power back to ourselves. And ironically, it doesn't change the story, it doesn't change the circumstances, but it changes how we handle what we're given. And that actually has allowed me and others to learn how to stand again, to feel strong again, how to live again, and not just exist. And that creates a ripple effect of people helping other people with no judgment at all. And that judgment piece is something that I do also believe is stopping a lot of us from living, because we are, again, extremely afraid of how we will be judged by others or how we are judging ourselves. So if we can create a little bit of a ripple effect of people helping people with no judgment, no preconceived ideas, I think that creates a wonderful ROI for the world.
I love it. I love it. I love that. I love that you share we're not alone, and to really connect and collaborate with others. I think that's so extraordinary. It's another reason why I love your style and your approach. You're bringing it back to basics, and I love that you share we all have a story and how you're helping other people really create a new story. I think that's marvelous. There's another quote that. Thank you. There's another. I really admire that. It's another reason why I was pumped to connect you, and especially this issue, specifically this issue, because we've really selected, people that have this vision like yourself that, once realized and once lived, and it's really going to, we believe, shift the world's energy. So we're really honored about that. There's another quote you shared. It goes like this: "My journey is not about me. It is about how I can pay it forward to change the lives of others." So share with us, the work that you're creating in the world is really profound. So what is the difference you wish to make with this way of being? That's
a great question. I really I like that. I really think it's important to show other people, lead by example, that we can overcome the challenges, again, that leave us feeling paralyzed and stuck. I mean, our life, we can create that path, we can create the idea of what it's going to look like, and I truly believe that we can create our own life. But that doesn't mean we're not going to have adversity, and that doesn't mean that we're not going to have challenges that happen. I mean, that's really, truly the norm. When we face those adversities, what we tend to do in the very beginning is we fall into victim mode without even realizing it. And victim mode is as simple as when you're asking yourself the question, why me? And it's not fair. Or taking the sideways glance, comparing your life to someone else's. And that's all victim mode. And victim mode will never, ever create change. There's no change that will ever happen when we sit in victim mode. We stay in that mode because it's safe. So it's learning how to shift some of the questions and the words and the beliefs and the mindset, and changing it to what questions. What can I do? What can I control? What can I release? How can I create that change? And we don't necessarily have to know the how of how it's going to work, but we know that we do want to create a different life and a different reality to where we are right now. And I feel very inspired and called to give others hope and teach them that they can own their own choices, they can own their own stories, they can control how they react to what they are given in their life, and truly release everything else, because everything else just doesn't matter. When we have that kind of persistence and we continue to not give up and not give in to where we are, and when we surround ourselves with the right people, that is absolutely critical. We spend so long sometimes stuck with maybe not necessarily the right people who are there to lift us up and encourage us and continue to grow. And I had to do that. I really had to change gears of who that inner circle was. And I teach others how to do that. That your inner circle is that's your boundaries. That's your safety area of, you know what, you connect with people who there is a give and take. There is somebody who wants to see you succeed and vice versa. And connecting and being with the right people, you know, really can make a massive difference of how you see the world and how you then move forward to create change. And when I started to really focus on this area, I realized that my journey really wasn't about me at all. And that was instrumental for me to finding a way to move forward. The more I shared, the more power I felt in giving to others and helping them and creating them having the space so that they could come forward in their life and they could own their story and they can find their way to change their circumstances and where they are at right now. And it's become a process of paying it forward, and truly it has fueled me in ways I never even expected. It keeps me going. I love it.
I love that. I love it. I love how safe you make it for people to share and for people to change. And I love how you share, you know, the energy around being stay in that victim mode. And if you stay in that mode, you just can't change. So I think that's, again, another reason why your work is profound. So, Marsha, before we move into the final question, I just want to look at 2017 for you. It's, you know, you're up to some real great things. I mean, you know, I see the lid coming off, and look out because Marsha's coming. And I think that's exciting. So, you know, share with us, what does 2017 look for you? What are some of the exciting things that are on your board there?
Well, that's a great question. I like to start my year. I do it typically in the last couple of months of the year and plan what I want the next year to look like. And last year I set the intentions of speaking and coaching and being involved in bigger projects. I had no idea what they would be. And then I connected with you, Gerry, and your mission and what you're doing, and absolutely fell in love with it. From there, I've also, I have another event coming up where I am speaking to a group of 500 people, and I am thrilled to be in that environment. Moving forward to 2017, I envision speaking into larger groups, running workshops for people, creating a safe environment for people to kind of come forward and figure out, okay, this is my life, this is where I'm at, and I don't want to be stuck anymore. I don't want to exist anymore. I want to live, and I want to be surrounded with people who are encouraging me to do so. So that's where I really want to see 2017 going, is basically taking it and amplifying it by 1,000. I see it bigger than where it is right now, and I believe it is something that I have taken my story, my journey, taken the lessons from it, and then those lessons can help a huge number of people, because in many ways, most of us are stuck in one area of our life. So that's where I'd like to take it bigger. My other thing is I have been working on a book, and it is a new territory for me for writing. Speaking is one area. Writing is becoming another area that I am working on. So my goal will be to have a book, you know, hopefully next year we'll have it completed. So that would be another resource that I can continue to use to help and inspire others. And I see it growing from there. I think there's a lot of different angles that this can go, and to encourage so many other people to truly just step up, show up, and live their life.
I love it. I love it. Great tools, great resources, workshops, books. It's all coming together so beautifully, and we're certainly honored to continue to shine a light on you, and especially kicking off the year with this Visionaries issue. There's a quote that you sent me recently. It's a beautiful quote, and it goes like this: "There's no need to be perfect to inspire others. Let people get inspired by how you deal with your imperfections." First of all, I love that quote, and I love that you shared it with me. You know, we're really big on imperfections being so perfect, and you don't have to have it all right. So with that, share with us going forward, what do you want to be remembered for creating in this world?
That's a great question. I I think that there's this persona around perfection. And I mean, I am a classic recovering type A perfectionist. So I can speak very candidly about this because I lived there. I lived there for a very long time. And we know that it's never really truly achievable, and which leads to a constant state of frustration. So in taking my story and stepping forward and realizing that we all have those imperfections, and that is all perfect. That is the norm. Again, the life path not going the way that we expect, it is all completely the norm. I really want to inspire people to not let their story define them, to realize that there is not an end point to their story, no matter where they're at in that moment, that it is, we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always expanding, we're always changing. And our stories are truly a work in progress that are being written every single day by all of the choices that we make or do not make, by all of the beliefs that we have or don't have, and the actions that we do and do not take. And I think that in all of our adversities, in all of our challenges in life, that in the very center of those adversities are gifts. They're gifts that we are meant to uncover. We are meant to learn about ourselves, and we are meant to continue to share that forward and impact others. But the problem is that most people don't even tap into that middle of the adversity because we spend a lot of time trying to make it look pretty, trying to make it go away, try not to deal with it, and trying to avoid it. And we all know that, I mean, whatever we avoid continues to stay there. So I'm really drawn to helping people to look right at the adversity, look it right in the eye, figure out what's there that they can control, what they can do, what they can change, and then become that work in progress based on their choices. And I think that when we do that, you can truly start to uncover the gifts that are there, and that's where the impact comes from. That's our own lesson. And truthfully, we all have our own gifts. And the saddest thing in the world is to go through our entire lives and never use them, never tap into them, never grow them, never expand them, because they're given to each of us for a reason. And when we can tap into that, I mean, I think that's when doors of opportunity open, and that's when we can really start to connect with the people that we're supposed to connect with, and that's when we start to really impact lives. So in a nutshell, the very thing that we tend to avoid is the very thing that we have to do. And if I can inspire others to do that, to not hide anymore, to stop avoiding the challenges and the adversities, I just think that more people will feel that internal power. They're going to be able to tap into those gifts. They're going to feel more strength. They're going to feel like they can achieve and move forward and not let that story define them. And that, to me, if I can be remembered as a person who was not afraid to go first, to not scared to talk about the scary things, that it will empower others. And for me, that will all be worth it. That will be all worth it if I can see so many more people able to step into that zone.
I am so inspired. I love it. I call this profile Lighting the Way. It's on pages 10 and 11. Marsha Vanwynsberghe, Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Man, I'm telling you, I'm even more motivated now to just rock and roll. So reach out to Marsha. I think this is an absolutely extraordinary profile. On behalf of Defyeneurs and everyday people doing extraordinary things, I want to thank you, Marsha, for contributing your beautiful vision, your amazing energy to this issue of Defyeneurs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gerry. I am so grateful for this opportunity and for all the work that you do. I really, truly thank you.